UFC 291 this past weekend, Tony Ferguson fought Bobby Green and has lost his sixth fight in a row. Today we're going to be talking about should Tony Ferguson retire from the sport of MMA. Before we get into that, make sure you guys leave a like, comment down on the video. Do you guys think Tony Ferguson should retire? Do you guys think that he should take a long break after this one? Let me know in the comments below and we'll talk there. Um, but yeah, let's go ahead and get into discussion of this video. So Tony Ferguson, his fighting style was very aggressive. If you guys watch any of his fights when he fought like SM Barbosa, he fought all these freaking fighters, and he had a really high output, a really high energy, and he was always coming forward, always eating punches. Always there was always bloodshed. You know, he was a fighter in a sense that would try to out destroy you in a sense. He would try to destroy you even if it meant that he was getting destroyed himself. And I think that that kind of fighting style eventually led to his downfall. When he fought Justin Gaethje, um, and this is a conversation that I'm hearing a lot, you know, in the blogs, is that when he fought Justin Gaethje, he tried to fight that style, and and that style just it didn't work for him anymore. He was already like what 35, 36, 34 when he fought Justin Gaethje, and Justin Gaethje was he was young, a lot younger than he is right now, and he just couldn't keep up. He couldn't keep up, and he took such a beating. Um, he took such a crazy freaking beating, bro. I don't know how the hell they did not stop that fight like way earlier in the rounds. I remember seeing that fight, and it was just hard to watch. It was really hard to watch, and that was a really tough loss on Tony Ferguson. We know that that you know he had a really bad um kind of showing that fight. In my opinion, when he lost to Justin Gaethje, he should have taken a break. But that same year, like 4 or 5 months later, he fights Charles Oliveira, and it was bad too. It was bad too. It was so bad that that fight he looked gun shy. He looked like he couldn't let go. He looked like he just couldn't like attack, right? And that was a pretty hard of a fight to watch too. So he loses two like big fights in a row. One to Justin Gaethje and one to Oliveira the same year, by the way. I think he came back a little too early. And those two fights specifically is why um, Tony Ferguson is just where he's at. People are saying that, oh, Tony Ferguson, is his reactions. That's why he's like getting his ass beat or getting beat up each and every single time he fights. These last couple fights. And yeah, of course, you know, it's just nature. He's older fighter. But more than that, he used to be a high output fighter. He used to be a high output, high energy fighter. And he's still trying to do the same things that he did when he was young and in his prime as an older fighter now. I think at some point when you get older, you're more past your prime than in it, your experience should take over, right? And Tony Ferguson, instead of him trying to just be a high output fighter all the time like he used to be, in my opinion, I feel like he needs to adjust the way he approaches a fight to pick and choose when he needs to be a high output fighter. And I don't think there's anyone in his coaching staff telling him that. Um, because the way he talks about, you know, people that used to coach him is also very telling on like where his like how he is like as a I don't know, as as a student or as like someone that needs coaching, because he'll just fire his coaches. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm not saying that I'm like a pro. I'm not saying that I'm a coach or anything, but you have to pay attention. You know, the way I guess fighters talk about who's in their circle and who's telling them how to do things. to how they're gonna prepare for a fight. And so, Ferguson, in round one, he was looking okay. He was flipping punches, he was dodging punches, he was rolling, he was counter punching a little bit, and that died off later in the fight. Of course, they had that little short stoppage, but the momentum just wasn't there. And I think that there's a a big hole right now on Tony Ferguson's game that I'm gonna talk about real quick. I think that he's so far past his athletic prime that the point that he's so defensively underdeveloped is starting to show like a like it's starting to show in a crazy way. I don't think that Tony Ferguson could just take advantage of the fact that he used to be really athletic and try to do the same things that he used to do back then right now. And I don't think that there's anyone telling him that. But if Tony Ferguson gets maybe someone else in his ear and someone else uh to kind of coach him on how to approach a fight in a different way where he doesn't need to be high energy Tony, he could just elevate his game to be something different. I think Tony Ferguson should 100% have that conversation about hanging up the gloves. Because if we expect Tony to fight the same way he fights right now against younger, more prospects or people just in a higher division, I see him pretty much losing most of his fights. I'm not gonna say that he'll probably lose each and every single fight from this point forward, but I do think that he'll probably get it'll be similar to his last couple fights, or it'll be similar to his last six, 100%. I don't doubt that I don't doubt it at all. Um, Something needs to change in the way that Tony approaches his fights. Because yes, he's older. He's had surgeries. He's he's been to the hospital. I don't know how many times in each one of his fights. After each one of his fights, yeah, he's just not the same. Everyone he has the same fighting like spirit, right? We saw that against Bobby, right? Saw that against all his fighters, right? He has the same fighting spirit. He always shows that he's in the fight. But I think that the way he approaches a fight should change. And if he doesn't have an ear to that, based on how he talks about all the people that used to coach him, if he's not coachable in a sense, I think that Tony 100% should retire, um, to protect him from himself. But that's just my 2 cents. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Open ears and we'll talk about it. I am Reef, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.